Now, real quick, back to Gary, the Pitbull Wolfe's story. So that's what me and him used to hang out all the time. Me and him, Pitbull 1 and 2, and he was definitely 1 and 2 was definitely 2. And they liked having their own numbers. 2 was happy to be 2, and 1 was 1. Anyway, so Gary, I forget how. Oh yeah, Shane Douglas gave him a divorce court. Everybody thought it was a DDT, like when people remember the story, but he actually gave him a divorce court, which is like a DDT, but it's to your shoulder. And the reason it's called a divorce cord is it separates your arm from your shoulder. Jim Cornette, thank you. So he gave him the divorce cord, and Gary, and it was on the title belt. And when Gary took it, he tucked his chin like you normally would, but for some reason it jammed up his neck. But he has this monstrous, superhuman thick neck that's like 7,000 inches around. That's like 20 inches around his neck, which thank goodness he had that, because he gets up, man, his neck's really stiff. And man, and so we're hanging out all weekend. He's going, man, my neck is stiff. I'm like, look, I'll take you to my buddy. He's a chiropractor on Monday. So, man, he's just complaining all weekend. I mean, I don't blame him. So we go to the chiropractor on Monday, and my buddy's like, I never make people get x-rays, but you know what? I just get an x-ray before we do this, just before I adjust you. And he never, and man, if he would have adjusted him without getting, if he would have adjusted him, period, he would have paralyzed Gary. And it's a wonder that Gary wasn't paralyzed anyway, just walking around with a broken neck on 2 sides, not just one. But it's because it's a testament to how thick his neck muscles were, that it did not, that the muscles, that the bones stayed in place just because the muscles held him there. So he goes to the hospital. He's, oh man, this sucks. Now I got to go back to Philly because the chiropractor was in Jersey. So he drive back to Philly, and he's like, all right. He goes, walks into the hospital. He drops me and Pitbull 2 off, goes to the hospital to get an x-ray. And the lady goes, don't you move. And he goes, what do you mean? He goes, how'd you get in here? He goes, I walked. And they're like, don't fucking move. And he's like, huh? And all of a sudden the team came, shoop, and they put the collar on him, not the halo yet, but the collar on him, and they mugged him and held him down. They were like, I think they picked his pockets too. Anyway, they held him down and held his neck, and they were mortified. I mean, just shocked that he was able to walk around for 3 days, or 2 days, I guess, because it would have been a Saturday night, and that was Monday. That he walked around for 2 days with a broken neck on each side, but it was just a testament to how muscular his neck was, that it held it completely in place until he was able to get the, and that's why I had to get the halo put on, which, that was a nightmare. Oh, I can't even imagine. I mean, I just used to see him all the time, and he couldn't do anything. You have to sleep with a damn halo everywhere. Oh, horrible. And so it saved his life, basically. Well, I mean, he wouldn't have died, but I mean, it saved his sanity because, even though he had to wear a halo, otherwise he'd have been paralyzed. If anybody else, their neck would have been paralyzed probably on impact, and if not, walking around for a couple of days would have done it. And thank God my buddy, the chiropractor, didn't adjust him, because not only would, it would have sucked, he'd have been out of his chiropractic career, because he'd have been, kabonged, but thank God for Gary, because he would have been paralyzed. So, anyway, that's like 17 minutes I'm up to already, and, so I got other questions here, and other people have written me questions too, and I wanted to talk about the wrestling convention I was just at, because that was awesome, the one in LA, but I really don't have any time because I don't want to take forever with this. So I want to thank everyone. I know it's Thursday and I'm supposed to put this out yesterday, but I'm lazy, and so screw you. And all right, thank you for tuning in, and bye-bye and bye-bonds. And now, the old fun part of the show where I pretend to find the off switch but can't do it and make funny faces. I'm just going to make funny faces. That's what I'm going to do. No. I would make a funny Chinese. Thank you. And good night.